Hello everyone. I'm going to share a quite simple project. It's a Python language based. Within that project, you first consider a raw data that might be in any form, HTML form or doc file form. So within that data, you will first I'm going to clean that data, and then I'll extract the required information of the respective fields what are required, and in the end I'll export the data in PDF file, which further you can utilize that data in publishing the dashboard, um, and that dashboard can be present to your manager. So the tools I'm going to use for that are the Colab, or you can use the Jupyter notebook. That's quite simple. Within that, you have to run the Python scripts step by step, and in the end you will get the required information. So let's come on to the screen. I'll demonstrate the process. So first of all, I'll just show you how the data looks like. Um, it's the raw data. It's in HTML format, hypertext markup language format, and it's quite uh, ununderstandable for the person who is non-coder. So you are going to get the required information. It's all about authorized agent lists. This is what I have downloaded from somewhere. In the end, we will fetch the consultant's name respective to their ID, and then clean that data and then export in the PDF format. So let's deep dive into it, how it works. I'll just show you it. That's quite simple. So this is all about data. So now I am going to use Colab. This is the Colab. It's a Google product. You just have to simply type Colab in the Google search engine, and you will redirect to that. So here first I'll upload that file within that. So let's move on to the file menu and just proceed with the upload. So you have just uploaded that data within that particular platform, and it's in doc form. Okay, so I'm going to proceed with the scripts. So this is my script file. I'm using the Python language down to it. That's quite simple. So first command, I'm going to execute this one. So uh, that's quite simple. You just have to write the command and just proceed with the run. Here this pip install python docx. It's a library that I'm going to install within the pip command. So because doc is the obsolete file now, docx files are in use. So this is my requirement to proceed with it. So next I'll proceed with the. So I'll proceed next with the next steps. So you can use just this plus code or plus text. Text is just used to give a comment kind of. Just you can also use headings. So I'll proceed with the code. So I'm using the same code. It's a Python code. I'll just copy paste that. Okay, now our code is ready. So first step, I'll just give you a brief overview about it, and then I'll execute that. First, we need to install library office. It's a module down to the Python. As we are using the doc file, so that's not compatible with that. So we need to first, convert that doc file into docx. So for that we have to use this convert method doc to docx. I have, assigned the path of that particular file. We can use the absolute or relative path. That works perfectly. There is no any issue with that. Or either you will use that path from the uploaded file, or you just upload that document using the import files method. uh, this will, upload the data from your own system. Here I'm using from the cloud. So we'll just remove that for the moment, or I'll just, comment it. So next, here this is a document method. Here I'm passing the argument of that variable to allocate that into the new method. Here I'm using the for loop. As you know, our raw data that's in a paragraph form, so we have to iterate through it line by line, and in the end I'm going to print the text. There are, the os, and these are the modules of the library. Os all about the operating system. You will just, whenever you will hatch over to any of the, the code, it will just describe it for what we are using. That you just have a look over it. So report lab module I'm using to, um, as we know that docx files are in the tabular form. It's in the row and column format. So we'll just report that in particular manner. So once you will upload that file, it will be converted into the docx. Then my task to read that file, because next step we have to proceed with its cleaning and then extracting the required information. And we have to require, that I have to extract the agent name column for that. So I'm using the read docx method. Within that there is a file path argument. So I'll proceed with that. The data fetch from that particular file in the array, and then we'll assign that with the text underscore data into a variable. Similarly, the text data dot append with the text, and then we'll return the data. So this is all about cleaning. We'll just read the data and then clean that. Now our task starts for the extracting. Now I'm going to, filter the agent name. This is the required information. So I can use the extract agent name method. So, here the data, I'll need to split it. As you can have a look over that, I have to separate that required information. So this is the method I'm using over here just to remove the duplicate files. Once the data will be extracted, it's I'm going to use the sorted method just to arrange that agent's name in a, the ascending order alphabetically. Can say like that. So in the end, I'm going to export that and save the data in the PDF file format. So there are the inbuilt methods I'm going to use: save to PDF. These are the arguments, agent name, and the output file. So my task is to, assign the output file name. So I'll proceed with that. And similarly, the title and the serial number, I'll just, format that data in this particular format. I'll just, assign the respective serial number to the agent name, so that it will make sense one can easily able to understand that. So this is the two arguments I need to process that file, and one is the input file and another is the output file. So this is all about, quite simple steps are there. In the end, I'm just, print that agent's name and save that data with the output.pdf file name. So this is the output.pdf file. This is the variable I have assigned. So my uh, information that is going to save with the name agent underscore list with a .pdf extension. So this is the process file method. So let's execute that and see how it works. I guess my code run um, smoothly, and there are it has extracted a list of agent names, which is going to save down to here. This is my doc file, this is my docx file, and this is the agent list. So let's see, let's open it. It's downloaded. I'll get the list of the authorized agents, and this data is quite informative. These are the authentic list of the visa agent. If one have to proceed with the visa filing for any of the country around the world, so you can refer that. So let's have a look. So let's see the difference. Initially the raw data looks like that, which a person who is non-coder, he is not even able to understand. So, and now you are able to get the agent name list in a format, particular format, which you can present to anyone. So I hope you like that. So in the next session we'll came out with the new projects. Okay, thank you for listening.